So I bought a few books again this month. You know, and I'm not even going to say that I will get to them soon, because I'm not going to get soon to all of these. No way, it's not happening, and sadly I cannot even claim to try to do that because it's not realistic. But yes, welcome to my November book haul. So the first book on this pile was actually a gift to me by Jesse, who is my Finnish friend. He was working with us in the Land of Ice when we were building it, and last year when he was here he was reading this book, and you know, he remembered that I was interested in it, and he brought it to me this year when he came, and that is Cloud Atlas by David Mitchell. Now, I cannot tell you what this book is about because I do not know what it is about, but I've heard nothing but good things about David Mitchell. I think he can be pretty confusing, his stories and all that, so we'll see how it goes. But you know, when I know more about this book I will definitely be letting you know, but until then just enjoy the beautiful cover. The next book that I have here is actually a rebuy because, you know, the whole cover change thing that I already mentioned in my previous book haul, and that is The Queen of the Tearling by Erika Johansson, which is book 1 in her trilogy. The last book I think was just released and it will be, or is coming out soon, so I know that it's on its way to me. But yeah, this is a story of Kelsey, who is this 18-year-old girl that lives in seclusion. Well, she was raised in seclusion by her guardians, and now that she's 18, her royal guard comes to pick her up because it's time for her to be queen to her people. And throughout the first book and the second one, we get to see her struggle with that. She's doing her hardest to be a good queen, and I really liked her as a character. She has then a different arc sort of in book 2, and she definitely didn't, you know, book 2 just didn't go the way I expected it to, and it was really fun to read it, and I cannot wait to see how the story concludes. But it's really, if you like, you know, a strong female protagonist, and interesting twists and turns in this one, definitely, you know, if you're interested in that, pick these books up. They're so fun to read, and I really enjoy this series as a whole. Hopefully I will read, you know, the third one this month, and I will let you know how that went. And yeah, but I really love these books. Next I have the Six of Crows duology, Six of Crows and Crooked Kingdom. Of course they do not match because, why in the world would they? But you know, I don't care about that. This is the story that takes place in the Grishaverse. You don't have to read you know, the previous trilogy to understand this one, I don't think. But it tells the story of a bunch of kids. They're sort of criminals, and they're on a mission to save this person from a prison, and I think that's basically all you need to know when you get into it. And well, I, you know, clearly haven't read the second book, so I do not know what that's about, but it's a continuation of what happened at the end of the last one. So I'm hopefully, well, I'm not going to promise when I'm going to read them, but not this year, that's for sure. Next I have Belgravia by Julian Fellows. This guy is actually the creator of Downton Abbey, and this is a book that takes place on the eve of, at least it starts off on the eve before the Waterloo battle in 1815, and there's the Duchess of Richmond organized this ball, and yeah, I don't know much more about that. I guess we'll see what happens, and I actually am really excited for this book. I saw this in one of our bookstores, and it had a different blue cover. It's also really beautiful, so this book was just blessed with beautiful covers. And then, thanks to Amber from Amber Eats Books, I got these 3 books, which are books 1, 2, and 3 in the Lightbringer series by Brant, which I don't know anything about, except that it's clearly it's fantasy and she loves them, and I was not planning to pick them up just yet because I was not planning to read them anytime soon, and I still don't, but the temptation was too much and I picked them up. And wait, I can show you the covers at least. This is book 1, The Black Prism, and then we have The Blinding Knife. Beautiful covers, at least I can admire them until I get to the books, and The Broken Eye, which is book 3 in the series. The book 4 is also out, and I think it's called Blooded Mirror or something like that. And yeah, regretfully they'll have to wait a bit, but if they don't, I will let you know. Next book that I have is Shadowblood and Burning by Jessica Clewis, which is book 1 in something, a trilogy series I do not know. I actually already read this book and I talk about it more in my wrap-up, but it tells the story of Henrietta, who lives in Victorian era, and she lives in this all-girls school, and she just became a teacher there at 16, and she has this power, but she's trying to keep it a secret because women with power are not really, appreciated in that time, and despite that she sort of uses it when she's trying to save her friend and exposes herself, and then she's taken to London, and then there she's sort of considered the prophesized one, and she's trying to learn this magic, and all that, and it's a really interesting world where there's mages, witches, wizards, and they do not get along at all. There's a really big division between all of them, and I really enjoyed it. It was not the best book, but I really enjoyed it, and I will probably be picking up the sequels up, so hopefully that happens at some point next year. And because it's been a while since I bought any Brandon Sanderson, this time I have 2 books of his. And the first one is Calamity, which is book 3 in his Reckoners trilogy, which actually I haven't read yet. I mostly focused so far on his epic fantasies, and this just wasn't it, and I decided to postpone it until this book came out, and now I have the whole trilogy and I will be reading it next year. And it's actually about superheroes that, well, it's about heroes that have It's about people that have powers, but they're not superheroes, they're super villains, and people trying to stop them from causing wreaking havoc and causing troubles and all that. And the next book of his that I bought is actually Arcanum Unbound, which it's a bind-up of all his Kazmir novellas. So Kazmir is where all of his epic fantasies take place, so it's basically like a universe, there are different planets, and their solar system is called, what I would think it's Kazmir, and all of his epic fantasies take place there, and these are novellas that go along with that world, and it's really important that if you haven't read his Kazmir books to not read these, because some of them are potentially spoilery, and they will ruin your experience probably, but yes, I cannot wait to get to them. So those were all the books that I got this month, and I hope you enjoyed this video, and see you in my next one. Bye!